Hello and yes indeed, welcome to another Whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 183, part 13 and the final part of this series of A Baker's Dozen. I will be back with another series of A Baker's Dozen at a later date. I know for a fact I will, because I've already nosed out 13 other 12-year-old Scottish single malts. A lot of them out there. This time we're heading to Glenlivet and Speyside. The Glenlivet, this one part of the original stories, the 12-year-old licensed Dram from Glenlivet. Glenlivet, they're owned by Chivas Brothers, so therefore owned by Pernod Ricard. This one was released in 2021, the follow-up to the 2020 release of the illicit stills. So it was a sort of going back to the original stories of the origin of Glenlivet, the Glenlivet. This one, a mixture, a blend, I believe, of first fill sherry, first fill European oak, first fill ex-bourbon. So, you know, it's got that going on. These were released, I think it's just to get Glenlivet moving again. I haven't really dipped my toe in Glenlivet much, aside from maybe the Nadura. Because I did have a couple of their non-age stated entry level things and they did nothing for me whatsoever. So Glenlivet weren't appealing to me, basically. It was that simple. So I just never bothered. Outside of Nadura, because I do like the Nadura releases with them being more natural. But this one sort of piqued my interest. I did quite like the looks of the illicit still, and I heard good things about it, but just didn't get round to getting my hands on one at the time. And then it became difficult to get, so I didn't chase it by any means. They're bottled at 48%. They both were. I would say there is colour added to that. I'm going to raise a question. I'm going to put a question mark beside chill filtration in this one. I have heard other people saying that it's chill filtered. Possibly. They didn't chill filter the illicit stills release, and they made a point of saying that it wasn't chill filtered. They haven't made that point here with this one, but bottled at 48%, I would be surprised if they've chill filtered it. That's, I suppose they still could. More so, I'm convinced, there's a couple of times I've had this and I've added water, I'm convinced it's gone a bit cloudy on me, which would make me think that it's non-chill filtered, but maybe it is chill filtered. I don't know. 48%. Anyway, let's get stuck in. Round, slightly bitter Manuka honey, initially. I find here, this is very, very much a do I or don't I like this note. There are hints of that old, I've talked about it before, that old style sherry dunnage sort of feel that I like, that I get from perhaps Edredor 12 or even Glenturret 12. It's there, it's in the background, but it's very, very muted. It feels like it's hidden behind a veil of something a little cheesy or yeasty, or it's pretty much the best way I can put it. There's also a note of rotting fruit, which isn't terribly appealing. You can't really butter that one up. You know, rotting fruit, it's all right to say things like baby sick, shoe polish and stuff like that. Rotting fruit isn't terribly pleasant, and I do get hints of it in here. Not a great start. Let's get into the palate. It's a fairly sharp, tannic, sweet, sour, maybe even slightly bitter delivery. It's quite an oily mouthfeel. A lot of that sharpness, a lot of the stuff that's going on that was in the nose is still there, not necessarily the good things. The ex-sherry is there once again, but once again I feel it's a little downplayed. can't, to the point where I can't tell if this is well balanced or just doesn't work, which ain't good. Yeah, I actually get the impression, as I said, first fill European, first fill ex-bourbon. I get the impression here with the original stories, with the story behind this bottling, that what they're going for here is an older style, an older feel of whiskey. And when I get to my, if you like this, then try this later, my alternative, I'll offer you something that I think they were aiming at, that sort of feel. Finish, medium length, goes a little dry. That sharpness doesn't go away that's hanging around there, which it just doesn't sit terribly well. A little resinous, yeah. It's just not fantastic by any means. 45, around the 45 to 50 pounds mark. 12-year-old bottle of 48%. Colour at it. Probably chill filtered, possibly chill filtered. It's pushing it on the price then. Water does improve this. Water does improve it, definitely. It sweetens it a little, which makes it improve greatly. I think that's part of what's going on. The sweetness is just weird in it before. And it becomes a better balance of that ex-bourbon and ex-sherry. It takes some of that rotting fruit out of it. It actually takes most of that rotting fruit note out of it, which I did not like. Green apple, figs, fresh fruit, little nutty. Still not blowing me away, I have to say. Perhaps hence the barley sugar and dried apricot. Sorry. No. I'm going to say no. I haven't really enjoyed this so far. I'm getting on to a good third to halfway down this bottle, and it's not doing it for me. I'm going to suggest spend your 45 to 50 pounds elsewhere. There, leave it at that, move on. So, yes, I mentioned that to me that this was something that was trying for an older style feel. And I said that when I came to my alternative, I would offer up something to you that I thought they were probably not necessarily aiming directly at, but more so this feel anyway. The Glengarry, the Geary 12-year-old, which I reviewed earlier in the series, bottle of 48%. So same there. Just a better feel, all round, a better whiskey, in my opinion. The Glengarry. It just, all of that, it just balances everything out. There's none of that real, this Glenlivet, the longer it sits on my palate, the less I like it. And mind you, I didn't like it much in the first place. The Glengarry just really impressed me. So, this doesn't do a lot for my avoidance of Glenlivet, shall we say, that I wasn't really toying with them in the first place. I'll certainly not be concerning myself with them much going forward, I think would be the way to put it. 45 to 50 pounds, spend it elsewhere. Buy a bottle of Glengarry. As a matter of fact, if you already got a bottle of Glengarry, buy another one. That's the way to do it. Nah, this just didn't. It's not improving. It's not getting any better. It's not for me. So, personally speaking, Glenlivet, original stories, this one, no. No, I'll not be replacing it. So I'll leave it at that. Say thank you very much for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much to my patrons. Should you wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below, as always. I'll leave a little link up here for my patronage. Anybody who wishes to know more about my patronage. Until the next time, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.